Hello everybody, Ace here, giving it to you straight with day 58 of the video log challenge, and today I wanted to talk to you about becoming the observer and letting go of the mania that is driving most of us insane. Now, I learned about the observer through Eckhart Tolle and Michael Singer. I would say those two authors, Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now and Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul, I'll leave the links below from the Amazon store. To me, those were two of the greatest books I could have read on the ego and learning how to master it in a way. I believe they have an old school view of the ego where they talk more about quieting it and killing it, which, hey, it works. If that works for you, then that works for you. But I've realized with me, the more I try to ignore my ego, the more I try to quiet my ego, the more I try to kill my ego, the more miserable I become. And it wasn't until I started to embrace the ego that I was able to really start to see that. But it took me reading these books, getting a better idea of what the ego was, what it wasn't, what the society has us believing it is, and then learning about this concept of being the observer. And all being the observer is taking a step out of yourself, taking a step back out of the ego, out of the spirit, out of any of it, right? Where you're not strategizing, you're not planning, you're not plotting, you're not doing any of those things, judging, right? What you're actually doing is you're being the observer. You're literally being the hawk. It's a falcon. You can literally be the hawk where as the observer, you're flying above everything and just observing, just seeing what it's all about. And through that observation and through being able to objectively look at yourself specifically, right? To objectively look at yourself specifically in certain situations, you really could start to deduce what it is that's going on. And that is how you gain more insight into yourself. And I think that for me, becoming the observer allowed me to finally get out of my mania for long enough to see that most of it, if not all of it, wasn't even mine to begin with, nor was it even real. And that's what becoming the observer really does for us. It really helps us see things for what they really are. And this also helps in terms of the external bullshit that's being pushed on us. When you become the observer, right? When you become the observer, when you no longer feed into knee-jerk reactions, when you no longer feed into breaking news that may or may not be true, and you start to take a step back, logically think of things, intuitively take in the information, allow yourself to see everything that's going on, and then make the moves appropriately. But becoming the observer is a step before accepting the ego, because first we need to become aware of the ego. And the only way to become aware of the ego is through simply observing it, and we have to do that objectively. And that's why we want to take a step back out of ourselves, out of the emotions, out of the feelings, not ignore them, not explore them, but for the moment, especially in the situation, right? Even if you are acting a certain way in that situation and you don't know why you've reacted, you're getting a little angry, you're getting a little flustered, you're saying things that you wouldn't normally say, don't judge yourself right away. Don't go down the rabbit hole of that emotion or feeling, but truly just watch yourself in this situation as it unfolds. See what the other person or other thing is doing, see how what you're doing, and then later on when you go and do your self-introspection, when you stop, breathe, ask, listen, and trust, is when you start to understand that, man, that was a reaction. I didn't have control over it then, but I know next time that I will do better. I'm not saying I'll do perfect, but next time I know that that's not the way I want to behave, because I was being the observer as much as I was being the spirit in it, as much as I was being the human in it. I was still being the observer, because first we're consciousness, first and foremost. We're God consciousness, and that's all being the observer is, without judgment, without opinion, without narrative, just observing what is happening around you, and then allowing yourself to sit with it later on, to digest it, to pull the lessons and the information out of it that will help you move forward in the future. And that's all being the observer is. And I just wanted to jump on today real quick and talk more about that, because I feel, for me specifically this week, and the week before, I've been in my own head for a while. I've been in my head a lot. I've been working through a lot of leftover residual trauma thoughts and patterns. I don't think there's so much residual trauma there anymore as much as the patterns and the programs and the thoughts. And so for me, coming back into the observation role, coming back into the observer allows me to take a reprieve from battling myself or judging myself or creating narratives and storylines from my past that are simply not true in the present. When I became the observer, when I learned how to become the observer, is when I was able to start really deducing what was mine, what wasn't, and what I'd like to do to improve my lot moving forward in the world. And so, if you liked what you've seen, I can't say this apparently anymore. If you like what you've seen and heard, hit that like button. If you want to join the army of energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to hit me up on email, hit me up at damawolf, DAMAH, wolf@gmail.com. If you'd like to donate to my links, it would go. If you'd like to donate to my work, it'd go a long way. My links are below: Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. I'm on almost at the end of the 6th week of DURT, and I'm healing on an exponential level. I'm about to actually become a brand partner here soon. Very excited. I think it's the future. I think it's gold, and I think it was a gift given by God to help us heal through this trauma that we're all going to have to heal through to move our collective into the 5D, 6D consciousness idea. So I really appreciate all of you. I hope you get a little bit further on your path today. I hope you gain a little bit more clarity on your journey. I hope you can bring a little bit more love into your heart so that you can realize that by taking a step back out of a situation or circumstance and observing it objectively for what it is, how it is, and why it is being the way it is, you'll start to be able to deduce what's yours, what isn't, and let yourself off the hook for how your ego is. Start addressing the ego, start paying attention to it, and then be able to evolve. So with that, I really appreciate you all today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. I hope you have an even better evening, and I will see you at the same time tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.